While the Ryder Cup gets all the glory, there's another team competition in golf that's produced some of the most dramatic moments in the sport's recent history. Did you know that the President's Cup was created because international players were dominating the PGA Tour but had nowhere to showcase their team skills? Or that in one edition, the competition ended in a tie after Tiger Woods and Ernie Els battled through 3 playoff holes in near darkness? In this video, I'll break down the complete history of the President's Cup, from its creation as a Ryder Cup alternative to its evolution into a legitimate international competition. These aren't just exhibition matches. They're intense battles that have created unlikely heroes, exposed surprising weaknesses in star players, and occasionally sparked genuine controversy. And the most surprising part? Despite being dominated by the American team in the record books, some of the most memorable moments have come when the international team pushed the heavily favored Americans to the brink. The origins, 1994 to 1996. The President's Cup was born in 1994, created by the PGA Tour as a counterpart to the Ryder Cup. While European players had the Ryder Cup to showcase their team skills, there was no equivalent competition for international players from outside Europe. With stars like Greg Norman, Nick Price, and Ernie Els dominating the world rankings in the early 1990s, the time seemed right for a new team event. The inaugural President's Cup was held at Robert Trent Jones Golf Club in Virginia, with Hale Irwin captaining the American team and David Graham leading the internationals. The format mirrored the Ryder Cup, with 32 points available through foursomes, four-ball, and singles matches. The Americans dominated this first contest, winning 20-12. Fred Couples led the U.S. team with 4 points, while Nick Price was the standout for the internationals with 3 points. Despite the lopsided score, the event showed potential, with good crowds and competitive individual matches. The 1996 President's Cup, again at Robert Trent Jones Golf Club, saw another American victory, this time by a narrower 16.5 to 15.5 margin. Fred Couples once again starred for the U.S., delivering the winning point by defeating Vijay Singh in singles. This closer contest suggested the competition might develop into a genuine rivalry rather than American dominance. What many don't realize about these early editions is how experimental they were. The PGA Tour adjusted formats, point allocations, and qualification criteria as they sought the right formula. Unlike the Ryder Cup with its 70-year history at that point, the President's Cup was building traditions from scratch. International breakthrough, 1998. The 1998 President's Cup at Royal Melbourne in Australia marked a turning point for the competition. The international team, led by Peter Thomson and featuring stars like Ernie Els, Greg Norman, and Vijay Singh, dominated the Americans, winning by an unprecedented 20.5 to 11.5 margin. This remains the only international team victory in President's Cup history and the largest margin of victory by either side. The Americans, captained by Jack Nicklaus, struggled with the firm, fast conditions of the renowned Alister Mackenzie-designed course. Tiger Woods, playing in his first President's Cup, won only 2 points from 5 matches. What made this victory particularly significant was that it legitimized the competition. Had the Americans continued to dominate, the President's Cup might have faded into irrelevance. Instead, the international breakthrough created genuine intrigue about future contests. The timing was also significant, coming just as Tiger Woods was emerging as golf's dominant force. The international victory suggested that team competition might be an equalizer against American individual talent. This narrative would shape the next several editions of the President's Cup. The Tiger Era, 2000 to 2007. The 2000 President's Cup returned to Robert Trent Jones Golf Club, with the Americans, captained by Ken Venturi, reclaiming the cup with a 21.5 to 10.5 victory. This began a period of American dominance coinciding with Tiger Woods' prime years. The 2003 President's Cup at Fancourt in South Africa produced perhaps the most dramatic finish in the event's history. After regulation play ended in a 17-17 tie, Tiger Woods and Ernie Els engaged in a sudden death playoff to determine the winner. As darkness fell, the players remained deadlocked after 3 playoff holes. In an unprecedented decision, captains Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player agreed to share the cup rather than continue the playoff the next day. This display of sportsmanship, with Nicklaus and Player walking arm in arm to announce the decision, created one of golf's most memorable moments of goodwill. The 2005 and 2007 editions saw comfortable American victories, 18.5 to 15.5 at Robert Trent Jones and 19.5 to 14.5 at Royal Montreal, establishing a pattern of U.S. dominance that would continue for years. During this period, the President's Cup struggled somewhat with its identity, often viewed as a less prestigious version of the Ryder Cup rather than a significant competition in its own right. If you're enjoying this breakdown of President's Cup history, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. I'm constantly diving into the tournaments and competitions that make golf such a fascinating sport beyond just the weekly stroke play events. Drop a comment below telling me which international player you think has been most crucial to making the President's Cup competitive, and I'll share some insider details about team dynamics that the broadcast coverage never shows. Now, let's continue exploring how this competition has evolved in recent years. The modern era, 2009 to 2019. The 2009 President's Cup at Harding Park in San Francisco saw another American victory, 19.5 to 14.5, despite strong performances from international team members like Ernie Els and Y.E. Yang. This competition featured the first appearance of future international team stalwart Adam Scott, who would become a cornerstone of the team in subsequent editions. The 2011 contest at Royal Melbourne resulted in another American victory, 19 to 15, despite the international team's home course advantage. The competition was notable for Fred Couples' successful captaincy of the American team and the emergence of young stars like Jason Day for the internationals. The 2013 President's Cup at Muirfield Village saw the Americans win 18.5 to 15.5, their fifth consecutive victory. This edition featured controversy over weather delays and rules interpretations, highlighting the increasing competitive intensity of the matches. The 2015 contest in South Korea, the first held in Asia, produced one of the closest finishes in President's Cup history. The Americans prevailed 15.5 to 14.5, with Bill Haas, the captain's son, securing the winning point in the final match against Sang-moon Bae. The narrow margin suggested the competition might be becoming more balanced. However, the 2017 President's Cup at Liberty National saw a return to American dominance, with a 19-11 victory that was never seriously in doubt. This one-sided contest raised questions about the competition's future and whether format changes might be needed to create more competitive balance. The 2019 President's Cup at Royal Melbourne provided the drama the competition needed. The international team, led by Ernie Els, built a 10-8 lead heading into Sunday singles, threatening their first victory since 1998. However, the Americans, captained by Tiger Woods, who also played and won all his matches, staged a remarkable comeback to win 16-14. This contest, featuring genuine tension and high-quality golf, represented perhaps the President's Cup's finest moment. The international team's strong performance, despite ultimately falling short, suggested the competition might finally be achieving the competitive balance it had long sought. The Woods-Els rivalry. A fascinating subplot in President's Cup history is the rivalry between Tiger Woods and Ernie Els, two of the dominant players of their era. Their sudden death playoff at the 2003 President's Cup remains the competition's most iconic moment, but their involvement extends far beyond that dramatic encounter. Woods has competed in 9 President's Cups as a player, compiling an impressive 27-15-1 record, and captained the victorious 2019 U.S. team. Els has played in 8 President's Cups with a 2018-2 record and captained the international team in 2019. Their contrasting styles, Woods' intensity versus Els' more laid-back approach, have personified the different team cultures. The Americans, led by figures like Woods, have typically approached the President's Cup with business-like efficiency, while the international team, embodied by Els, has embraced their underdog status and diverse cultural makeup. The future of the President's Cup. As the President's Cup approaches its 30th anniversary, it faces both challenges and opportunities. The competition has struggled to escape the shadow of the Ryder Cup and establish its own distinct identity. The American team's dominance, winning 12 of the 14 contests with 1 tie and just 1 international victory, has also raised questions about competitive balance. However, the 2019 edition demonstrated the potential for compelling drama when the teams are closely matched. The increasing global nature of professional golf, with more international players achieving success on the PGA Tour, suggests the talent gap may be narrowing. Format innovations, such as the reduction from 34 to 30 points beginning in 2015, have aimed to create more tension and reduce the likelihood of early American runaways. Further adjustments may be necessary to achieve the perfect balance between tradition and competitiveness. The President's Cup represents golf's attempt to create a truly global team competition, bringing together players from diverse nations and cultures to compete against the American powerhouse. While it has often lived in the Ryder Cup's shadow and struggled with competitive imbalance, the President's Cup has produced memorable moments that stand among golf's most sporting and dramatic. From the shared cup in South Africa to the nail-biting finish in Australia, these moments have showcased golf's unique capacity for both fierce competition and exceptional sportsmanship. As international golf continues to strengthen, the President's Cup has the potential to evolve into the global showcase its founders envisioned. What makes the President's Cup special isn't just the golf, it's the cultural exchange, the diverse team dynamics, and the opportunity to see players from countries like South Korea, Japan, Australia, South Africa, and Canada unite under a single banner. In an increasingly divided world, there's something powerful about this celebration of global golf excellence. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of President's Cup history, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm constantly diving into the tournaments and competitions that make golf such a fascinating sport, beyond just the weekly stroke play events. Drop a comment below telling me which President's Cup moment you found most memorable, and I'll see you in the next video.